Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's Stuart here, the Unrepentant Atheist. I've got a video here which I hope will interest and amuse you. So, what's happening? What's happening is that I've been to an event recently, an event designed for children, organized by a local church. Okay, so the way that they run this event is that the parents bring all their children, and the parents sort of sit and have a cup of tea and a biscuit or a cookie if you're in America, and chat among themselves. And the children go off and they do kind of creative activities with paper, glue, scissors, colored markers, etc. And they make little, little crafty things which have got a sort of religious story behind them, or rather a Christian context. So the context on this event was Noah's Ark, the flood. Okay, so they did that, and then after they made all their little ships and animals and Noah with his people, etc., they then went off and had a video show. Now the video show looked like this. There was a large room with a sort of horseshoe shape of chairs where all the parents were sitting, where I was sitting. Not that I've got a child there, but I know somebody who brought her child. Okay, that's why I was there. So yeah, there's a horseshoe, there's about 50 odd parents sitting around, and then in the middle at the front there's a video screen. There's a church minister who is leading the event, and there are children sat all around watching. Okay, now what was on the video were pictures from the story from the Bible, Noah's Ark, the flood. And I think really what sort of concerned me about this whole thing was the way that the minister was actually telling the story, because he wasn't telling the story like this is a story from the Bible and there could be some sort of symbolic meaning in all this. No, he was telling it like this actually happened and this is history. That this is fact. The way that he was telling it all sounded very much like he believes that it's fact and that it's accepted as fact. So he was saying, for example, that God created the world, etc. He saw that it was good, but then things started to go bad. People started sinning, and it wasn't much good. And there was only really one or two people. There were only a few people who were not sinning, and one of these was Noah. And God decided to trust Noah to survive this flood, which he was going to make in order to wipe out all the badness in the world. Now, he really told this story quite convincingly, like this actually happened, and this is fact. I think that he could have told it in a different way. I think he could have left it sort of open, like we don't really know if this happened or not, but it's in the Bible and it's part of our belief system. It's not a historical fact, but anyway, here's the story and you can make your own mind up. No, he didn't tell it like that. He told it like it was a fact. And I could see that this, this indoctrination process, and why are there people around in the world today that really believe that Noah's flood actually happened, that there was a worldwide flood, and this preposterous story, implausible story about a giant ark or floating vessel preserved two of each of all the species. It's the one most obviously false story in the Old Testament, isn't it? But it was presented as if it was actually real to young minds, and young minds are like sponges, and particularly somebody who's in a position of trust and authority like a church minister would be believed. And a lot of those children would come away thinking, this actually happened. Or they wouldn't really analyze it, they would just accept it. And maybe later in life some of them will think, oh well, when they start analyzing, when they get to school and they start developing their critical thinking skills, they might start thinking, well, actually, maybe that didn't happen, especially when they start studying the science. But there will be some maybe who will cling to that belief, particularly if they retain their Christianity. And these are a lot of the people that we see online today arguing that, the flood actually happened. Okay, well, that's it really, just a short video. I just thought I'd make this because it happened fairly recently, and I thought that it would be good to put it out there while it's still fresh. But it's a lesson. It's interesting for me to see how all this sort of indoctrination works and why there are so many people in the world that still believe these things which have got absolutely no basis, no foundation in reality, no proper evidence to support them. Right, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again with another video. Goodbye for now.